Hello everyone, this is Acken, and this video is a little bit special. This is a video that is 100% dedicated to explain what has changed in the mod in version 1, which will be released in the next couple of days, so at the end of July. I'm waiting for cfanatics.com to come back online mostly. So I will just skim over what has changed. I'll probably just launch the game. Let me do it right now. I will launch the game to explain policies. This would be easier to do than on this text file, but there are some stuff that I need the text file. So first, the AI changes. There are a lot of AI change. Oh, sorry. I will lower the sound. Okay, so there are a lot of AI changes. The main ones come from a mod that is called Artificial Intelligence by Delnar Ersic, I don't know. And from his mod, I mostly imported is improvement over the builder AI. This is the worker stuff, the tactical AI, which are movements, the homeland AI, which mostly is all the whole movements of your own troops and some other stuff at home, and the operational AI, which are improvement over operations. Operations is how the AI chooses to make an action on the game, for example, attacking someone. So it launches an operation, which is, for example, a sneak attack. So it will start to gather units, and then it will launch the operation, which will move the units toward the target. So operational AI is this stuff. So a lot of improvement that come from artificial intelligence. And then I have also added my own improvement. Some that were already also taken as an inspiration from artificial intelligence, like mostly XML changes, which are the values the AI use to make decisions, so threshold, stuff like this, modifier of in opinion, etc., etc. So the result is that the AI now is more decisive in its grand strategy choices. Grand strategy is whether the AI goes for a conquest victory, a diplomatic victory, a science victory, or culture victory. It should be now more decisive. What I mean by that is that if the AI is already on a strong course for a conquest victory, it will keep going that way. It won't just suddenly shift to another victory. Artificial intelligence already improved that aspect, but I think the game loses in the fun aspect when the AI always switches to space victory once it builds the Apollo. Sure, it makes the game more difficult because the AI will then rush for a science victory, but the problem you have is that it's mostly the only victory that the AI ever wins if you go that way. So this is a trade-off between what is harder, making the AI always go for science victory, because this is the easiest victory to win. So you could go that way, making the AI always focus on the spaceship stuff, or you could go what I'm trying to do is that if the AI already has conquered capital and stuff, it will try to still continue to do a conquest victory instead of switching to a spaceship victory just because it has built randomly the Apollo. Same thing for culture victory. If the AI already is influential on a lot of people, it will try to continue going in the culture direction. But like I said, it makes the game a little bit easier because the AI will not try to win a science victory at the fastest. Some AI will, mostly the AI that weren't able to capture other civilization or who didn't made a lot of tourism. So these ones will go to spaceship. But honestly, due to tech penalty change, which I will talk about, the AI is not uh, is already winning mostly by science. So I don't think it needs to be uh, even more boosted. So the AI is also no more aggressive when it has a low opinion of someone or when it wants its lands. So, for example, before it was something that was really acknowledged when Civilization Beyond, but not Beyond, but Brave New World was released. That the AI felt a lot more passive, a lot more friendly. This is somewhat gone. No, it's more like in the God and King's Day, where if the AI sees that you are weak and it wants some of your lands, it will uh, it will be more aggressive in that way. Also, something that was also added, mostly to help the AIs going for conquest victory, is that if the AI is going for a conquest, the domination victory, it will now be able to declare war against multiple targets. It's not perfect, it's only a very crude improvement that I made, but it now can get into multiple wars at the same time if the second target is really weak compared to the targets the AI is already engaged with. So let me speed this up. What I've added, some improvement on the AI overall. So I just name them. For example, before, when making operations, for example attacking a city, the AI was just looked at every city and then added weights on depending on how far the city was, how many units there was over there, etc., etc. And the distance was only raw distance, so it was just counting the tiles between each city. What I have added is that I know the distance is based on the path the units will have to take. So for example, before, two cities that were from each from one side of a mountain had a mountain range at a very little distance, because it was counting like you would fly above the mountains. Now the Pathfinder needs to go all around the mountains, so the distance increases. I have made some changes, so this is a pretty big change. Something that you will see right away is that the deal, the AI, when you make deal with it, has two main differences, which are bribes. Now bribes are harder to make if the AI doesn't like you. If the AI wants to kill you, it will be harder to bribe it away. It will cost more money, or it will be even maybe impossible. So it depends on whether the AI likes you, whether it likes or not the target, and whether it depends also on how strong the different people are. So if you are really weak, if the AI doesn't like you, and you try to send the AI on a target that is stronger and has better relations, then it will either cost you a ton of money, or it will be even impossible because you don't have enough stuff to give in the bribe. One of the major other changes is that there was a bug before that is called the white piece bug. The white peace bug is mostly that every time the AI wants to make peace with you, you could always remove everything from the deal and then make it accept a white peace. This is no longer possible. This was a clear bug from the C++ code, which I fixed. It's a pretty easy fix, so I'm not going to boast on that. But this is no longer possible. If the AI wants something out of a war, it will keep asking until you accept, or the state of the war changes. On the other hand, I have put a modifier for distance inside the peace deal. So before, if the AI thought that you were really rich compared to it, it will always ask the same stuff like one city, no matter how far you were. So if you were really far, the AI will act the same stuff. But now it depends on distance. So if you are really far from an AI that you are at war with, it will ask less in a peace deal. This is mostly to make to come back to a situation where you don't end up with unbelievably long war with very distant AIs. Because since you no longer can abuse the white peace stuff, this makes things a little bit smoother, I think. So I already talked about that. So before, when you were making like 5 cities in one shot, you had a very big diplomatic modifier, which was called they believe you make too many cities. So this has been already changed a lot. The text hasn't changed, so you may probably still see it. I will have to see what I can do about it, but mostly even if you see the text, things are a lot smoother. What I mean by this is that before you had there was a check in the function that was just looking if you had 3 or less cities. If you had 3 or less cities, the value of reckless expander was 0, but if you started to get 4 cities, it was looking at the average of other civilizations and then making an assessment on that. If you were way above the average, it was giving you a very steep diplomatic negative. But now the diplomatic negative is a lot smoother. There are multiple steps. So if you have a lot more territory than the other AI, the thing will be the same as before. But if you have like just one city more than the average, well, actually it's 1.5 times the average. But if you have one city more, now it will be just a small diplomatic negative modifier, while before you had the whole stuff just for one extra city. So it wasn't really interesting. And next, the last AI improvement. It's not really an AI improvement. It's more something that I think wasn't really made very well in the game. It's the warmonger logic. So before, when you captured a city, you received warmonger threat. When you warmonger threat, which was dependent on the number of cities, the AI you captured, the number of cities that it remaining for that civilization. This has been changed. Now it's a little bit less. I have added a base number of cities. So if, for example, before, when you captured the last city of a civilization, you got a massive warmonger score. But now it's acting like if you get the last city, it will be acting before as if the civilization had 3 cities. So I'm just adding plus 2 in the formula. I'm not sure if I'm really clear on this, but the warmonger has been reduced. It has been reduced, and it has also been there are more modifiers now. So for your friends now will be more won't really care for warmonger your warmonger score as long as they are friends. They won't really care. On the other hand, people that really doesn't like you will really like you even less if you start to get cities, if you conquer cities. And finally, I have added something that is really in a very rudimentary form right now, but which may remind people of the, the Paradox games, which is a casus belli system. So I've added something like this in the background, so this will probably change in the future, but right now it's because it's in a very crude form. But mostly what it does is that right now, if someone declares war on you, you will get a casus belli, and what it does is that you can capture a city from that civilization for free, for not for free, but for no warmonger score. So before you had every time you capture a city you get something. Now it's if you had a casus belli, the first city is entirely no warmonger threat at all. So this is on the civ that you declare that declare war on you, the civ that declare war on your friends, and if a civ denounce you, you get this modifier. And finally, this is not really an AI improvement, but this is something that we will talk about in the wide how wide games have changed. This is the now before you had like 5% tech penalty for every city you make. So basically the formula was 5 times your number of cities. That was your penalty. Right now the formula has been changed because it's 5 times n power a number, power an exponent, and this exponent for the AI decreases with difficulty. So what this means is that the tech penalty for maybe 20 cities is less for the AI on deities than it is on immortal, etc., etc. It will also be less than the player because the AI isn't really able to be very efficient with its cities, and especially on Deity it really expands everywhere at once, so sometimes in very crappy location. So this is to make sure that the AI isn't because right now in the original game when an AI gets really big, it starts to crumble and take very slowly. Right now it has been improved. The AI will take less slowly with a big empire. But first I had completely removed the tech penalty, but it made wide games a little bit too strong in my opinion. So I've added back a penalty, but not the penalty is not a linear function, it's a convex function. So here you go. Convex or concave? Convex, I think. Whatever. So this is the AI. This was probably the biggest part of this video. I'm sorry, it's been already 20 minutes of me talking. So I will just go over the rest. Culture has been changed in the sense that we get more culture from a lot of stuff. The purpose is to make culture stuff more interesting for non-culture victory. So amphitheaters, opera houses, and museums now get 1 more culture, so they give 2 culture. Great works give 4 culture instead of 2. Sims have been increased. The palace gives 2 culture per turn. On the other hand, city-states have been reduced. they now have the same yield than religious city-states. The purpose of these changes is to make culture more attractive so that you can get more policies before a renaissance, and also to reduce the influence over a game of cultural city-states. I think it was too big, so now you get more culture from your own stuff. Tourism has been increased for some stuff, and now aesthetics has a pretty good tourism bonus, so this is to compensate for the bigger culture. Wide mechanics, so I have improved the way wide games work. One of the biggest change is the national wonders. So now the national wonders have a base cost of 195, and then it increases by 15 for every additional cities. Before it was a base cost of 125, I believe, but an increase per city of 30. So if you make the calculation, it is now the same, it costs exactly the same for 4 cities empire, but bigger than 4 should cost less production to make the national wonders. So like I said when I described the AI, now the penalty for additional city on text is a function of the form A, which is the old penalty, which was 5%, times n, your number of cities, and power E, which is the exponent. So for the player, the exponent is currently set as 0.65. One of the next big change are warfare and units. So cities are weaker, they have less health, and they heal more slowly. They have less strength. Well, just their base strength that has been diminished. It's gone from 8 to 5, and the bonus for being on a heal has gone from 5 to 3. But the increase with population and technology remains the same. To compensate for less health, I just increased the capture health. Just to make capitals a little bit harder to conquer. On the other hand, the defense bonus from the palace has been increased. The purpose of the whole warfare and units changed is twofold. The first one is to make an empire that makes a very big attack a lot harder to counter if you don't already have units. I've always been really sad with Civilization 5 when you attack a civilization that has almost nothing, and then just with a couple of archers you could just kill everything. So I thought it was a little bit sad. I prefer the Civilization 4 way, where you have to have defenders in your city if you want to survive attacks. I prefer this way, so I went into that way. And the second purpose of all these changes is to make melee units a lot more useful than they are right now in the original game. So as a result, they are already better because cities are weaker. So weaker cities immediately make melee units better, because they take less damage from attacking the city, and the cities take less hits from the melee units to fall. And also to make melee units better against cities and range unit, they got some buffs. So spearmen are +1 strength, swordmen are +2. This makes, in my opinion, a very interesting change, where now iron is required. Iron is a very good strategic resource to have early. You can make very strong swordman's rush, which was really missing from the base game, where iron was a crap resource unless you wanted to make frigates. Now, swordmen are one of the best early units you can make, and so getting quick iron in your territory will increase your defense or your attack tremendously. That's about it. Range units got their strength. Oops, sorry. Their strength reduced and their range combat slightly reduced. So what it means is that they now act more like they are supposed to. They act as a support unit. So if you put them on the front line, they will get wrecked by melee units. There is no way around it. You can no longer tank anything with archer units. You have to put your melee units front and then some archer unit back. You still need archer unit back because otherwise you don't shoot as much as you could. But now they act more like a defense role. And early siege units also got some bonuses. They are mostly not changed in attacking strength, but I've just buffed their defense strength. I think it's justified because yeah, right now, yeah, a catapult is better than a composite bowman in a straight fight, but the catapult still needs turns to it can't move and shoot, etc., etc. And also have increased its production cost to compensate for the buff. Lancer units have been increased. It was really weak before. I don't think people will cry about that. This is a tentative change. It may not be not stay that way, but right now cavalry units don't get a penalty for attacking city. I think it makes horses a lot more valuable, especially as horsemen have been increasing strength to be at the same level as swordmen and spearmen. So cavalry units are now so it's not cavalry, it's just horsemen in general. So this is something that needs some tests to make sure that cavalry isn't too strong. Okay, so yeah, another big change is that now the Gatling gun, the machine gun, and the bazooka are now real range units, so they have a range of 2. But as a result, they got some reduction in their strength. So they before, like, the Gatling gun was a 30 range strength and a 30 combat strength. So of course the combat strength has been reduced by a lot to make them similar to archer and composite bowmen, where they are really weak against melee attacks. And this was suggested by one of my testers. Orange combat also had to be reduced a little. So this is also a little bit experimental. It will be easier when people start to really make domination games, see where it fits. But this is mostly it. A range unit are now ranged 2, but they are weaker. I have made some unique units adjustment, but not a lot. So there are now a lot of unique units which are a little bit too strong or too weak. For example, I think the Shukonu is now very weak, but on the other hand, the Legion from Rome is absolutely crazy with a 19 strength. Alright, so I will get into policies inside the game. Religion. So religion, not much has changed yet. I will do this inside version 2. Version 1 is mostly about policies. Version 2 will feed beliefs, and then version 3 will be about buildings, wonder, and text, and version 4 will be about the civilizations. So policies. So region hasn't changed much, but a few things have changed. Before the cost with the eras was, in my opinion, a little bit too steep, going from 200 to 300 to 400. Now it has been really reduced. So I think you go from 200 to 250, and then 300, etc., etc. So the cost is a little bit less. You can still don't feel like you are shooting yourself in the foot by making missionaries during the Renaissance or Industrial era. As a result, the cost of Industrial era units has also been severely reduced. So it makes the Reformation belief that was enabling you to buy post-industrial era units a lot more interesting. So now, for example, late game units cost 500 faith to build, instead of, I think it could go to the thousands of faith, which was way too much. The Tower of Pisa now gives a truly free grade person, but this is just a side effect of now the Liberty Finisher giving you a truly great, truly free grade people. This may change back. This is just because I did a lazy fix for the Liberty, and so it also changed for the Tower of Pisa. But we will see how it goes with Pisa that way. White games have also been improved because the maintenance of some essential buildings has been reduced. So monument and shrines are now free of maintenance. So this doesn't really nerf tradition, but it makes tradition less good compared to the rest because it no longer have free monuments. So monuments are now free for everyone. Well, free of maintenance. They still cost production. Shrine are the same way. This is mostly to improve wide and piety games. Same for temples. Watermills are a very good building for wide empires. So watermill also got a reduced cost. Anyway, it didn't really fit in the tree. If you look at how maintenance increase, watermill were a little bit too high, I think, for where it was in the tree. And the courthouses have also reduced maintenance. This is to make early war more interesting and to make honor a more interesting tree, because as you will see, honor improves the construction of courthouses. Stoneworks and windmill no longer have terrain restriction, and it was a really awkward restriction that didn't really make sense. So I removed it, and anyway, since hills no longer gives a production bonus, there was no point in keeping windmills away from them. So number 10, we are almost at the end. How long has it been? 30 minutes. I hope I'm not too boring. Technologies. So technologies now, the tech cost of every technology has been increased. This is the purpose of this is to slow down the what you could say the second half of the game. The whole modern atomic and information era, to shrink, to not shrink, to expand it a bit and to make the game a little bit longer. So as a result, in fact, tech cost increased by 4% per era. So as a result, the last era, which is information, all its techs have been increased by 30%. But remember that the tech penalty is now less big, so it's not the tech penalty for additional city is less important, so it's not as bad as it sounds, or not as long as it sounds. You will still get some pretty good finish time, I think. The National College has been reduced in power. It now gives a scientific slot instead of the base science, and instead of giving 50% more science, it now gives 20% more science. It's still a very good building to get early, but the focus on just getting your national college very fast is reduced, and this is a very necessary change because right now making sure you don't get killed by the AI is a lot more important than getting your national college up. The scientific slot is to start making scientists early because the universities have not just one slot instead of two, and it is the laboratories which got 2 scientific slots. This is to also to both to slow down the science curve, sorry, the science curve, and to make science stuff the same as merchants and engineer stuff, which were all 1 slot, 1 slot, 2 slot over time. So now observatories are now also reduced to make them not better than the National College. So observatories are now 25% science, but I've also reduced their cost to make it more interesting. Compass increase embark movement by 1. This is mostly a buff for the AI because the AI has sometimes some trouble getting use of embark movements. Okay, so this is what I say here. The attempt is to smooth the science curve and make it more regular. So you won't. Before I was, it was really strange because before the first 100 turns were, in my opinion, perfect in how they were designed. You arrive at around 100 science at the end of 100 turns. But then there was a few stuff that were really growing it really big. The 2 slots from your universities, the National College, and secularism. These 3 factors almost arrived at the same time, and you could go from 100 to 300 in a couple of 20 turns. I think it was way too big, and then it made Renaissance techs cost like 4 or 5 turns of research, which is a little bit strange when you consider the first part of the game, where most of your techs take like 6, 7, 8 turns. So this is a change in this direction. It also makes the AI a little better because before it wasn't really good at managing its science. So and the last changes, so we won't do this. This is just mostly for other people that describe what I have added into the code to make my changes, but this is not important for you guys. So the last changes, so barbarians, the ruins that was revealing barbarian camps no longer exist. So you will get more quality runes most of the time. The merchant specialists now give 4 gold instead of 2. This is to make them approximately equal to engineer. I usually, when I make this kind of change, I usually use a base of 2 gold equal 1 hammer, which sounds fair in my opinion. So as a result, since engineers are 2 hammers, merchants are now 4 gold. Great scientist discovery value is now fixed on creation, so instead of the bulb of great scientist being increased over time, now it is fixed on creation. So there is no longer a real interest in keeping a great scientist around, and the value is now 7 turns instead of 8 turns of science. City states should give you quest more quickly. So this is just for the early game. They should just give you their first quest, which are mostly barbarian camp stuff, a little bit more quickly. Visibility has been increased for embarked units. This is not a very big change, but I really thought it was annoying and completely unrealistic. The gold yield of trapping and calendar luxury has been increased by 1, so this makes luxury tiles a little bit more interesting. In my opinion, this makes them as interesting as other strategic tiles. For example, before, a horse was giving you 1 additional hammer, so you could get a grassland horse. It would be 2 food, 1 hammer. Now it will be 2 food, 2 hammer with an improvement. So for the same logic, I wanted to make, for example, a grassland, let's say sugar. So since it gives gold instead of hammer, using the same conversion of 2 gold equals 1 hammer, I made the tile 2 food, 4 gold tile. And North City, no matter how they are settled, are always 2 hammer base. Workboats now have been their cost reduced also, because it was a little bit too much at 45 before, so it has been reduced to 30, because just to improve 1 tile, 45 was a little bit too much in my opinion. Okay, so this is the change in the dot text. So let me just show you to finish this video. It's probably a video of 1 hour. Yeah, I hope I will have time. Let me just get the mods in. Don't really pay attention to the other mods. This is mostly sometimes when I need some inspiration on how to do some change. I just look at what some other people do. Okay, so this is the only mod inside, so just let's go.
May the blessings of the gods be upon you, O great King Alexander. You are the ruler of the mighty Greek nation. Your people lived for so many years in isolated city-states.
Okay. So tradition, the only change in tradition is that oligarchy is no longer a prerequisite for legalism, so we go back to before it was pre-patch. I think I didn't really like this change. I think it was really inelegant because I mean, if you want to make the tree less interesting, try to make the other one better instead of just making you take a crappy policy first. So this is one of the criticism of my current regionalism trees that we will have to make, but we'll see. Liberty. The main change in Liberty, Liberty was already a very good tree, and with the improvement over white games, I didn't make big changes. The first change is that the finisher now gives a truly great person, a free great person. It's now really free. Before it was counting as if you had made a great person, and it was really annoying for prophets, because prophets were considered, if you choose prophet with the liberty finisher, it was considered as if you had made an engineer or a scientist or a merchant, so it was pretty bad. So now you can choose the prophet for free with the liberty finisher. The other main change is that republic and citizenship have been swapped. The main reason for this is to make liberty a little bit less attractive as a secondary tree, as a tree you open with and then get elsewhere, because I really think a republic is a better policy than citizenship. So swapping the two makes this branch a little bit weaker. On the other hand, it really makes liberty the tree you want to use if you want to get some really quick free stuff. So you get a quick free walker and then a quick free settler, but you no longer get the production bonus. So you will have to make a choice if you want to use Liberty as a secondary tree. If you want to use it as your primary tree, you will still go there and then there. Honor. The main change in honor is that right now you get culture for absolutely all kills, not just barbarians. So this makes the opener a lot more useful. I will probably put a maximum value on the amount of culture you can get, so that it doesn't get too much crazy like at the end of the game. I know most of the tree has been changed, so you know what I could call two ways of going toward the last policy, which is the first one is something that is mostly economic, and this one is mostly really aggressive. So you get professional armies, which is mostly what it used to be, so it reduces the cost of upgrading units and it boosts the production of barracks, but it's no longer 50%, it's now 100% or doubled as written here. The main reason why professional army is now very accessible is because of the barracks being produced at a double rate, because now military caste is 1 happiness 2 culture policy. It's for the barracks and it's no longer for a garrison unit. This branch makes, if you follow me, this branch makes barracks better than monuments for new cities. So the interest is that now people that play honor, in their first cities that they will plant, they will make barracks instead of monuments, and then can start to make units really quickly with them. So this is a change that may change in the future, but I really like it that way. Warrior Code allows something that was missing from Honor before. Honor I had always felt was a decent tree, but it was missing this boost in your early game to start your rolling that I think was missing. So this is to alleviate this problem. You get now 2 free units, a spearman and an archer. You need to take this policy, and this allows you to directly go and kill some barbarians. This also allow you something that could, I think, was interesting to do with honor. It allows you to go around and ask for tributes very quickly in the game, and then you can maybe buy out a settler relatively fast that way. Finally, discipline is always a 50% combat strength, but it also now gets the 50% more experience from combat. And this one gives 50% more production toward all military units, not just melee. And the heroic epic is now produced twice as fast, and the free general is now here. And finally, the finisher of honor is still gold for kills. It's still gold for kills, but it's also a boost to the production of courthouses. So if you remember, courthouses are now less expensive in maintenance, so it's a very good idea to get honor and start killing some people around. This is the kind of changes that makes the way I designed honor more for a single player game than for a multiplayer, because honestly honor right now, plus the changes to cities and melee units, make honor a very strong rush tree. Before it was considered that Liberty was the better tree to rush somebody, but right now I'm pretty sure honor is the best tree to be very aggressive very quickly, and you can probably on all difficulties kill one people right away with honor and of course making a few units yourself. And this is the kind of change that wouldn't necessarily be really fun in a multiplayer way game, because while you won't cry for killing an AI very quickly, killing a human player very quickly is not as fun. Well, it's fun for you, but not for them. So this is the kind of change that I'm really satisfied in a single player game, which my mod is designed to be anyway. But in multiplayer, this would probably be problematic, especially this policy, because now one spearman and one archer makes a very big difference when you attack someone. And the piety tree, so the piety tree I have already exposed it in my first video with Persia, but mostly it now gives one face in the capital, the opener. So since the palace now gives two culture, you get in all cases you get your first policy quite quickly, and this one face in the capital plus the shrine that you will probably do will guarantee you a very fast pantheon. And once you get your fast pantheon and your shrine, you will get more from the shrine thanks to organized religion, and then you will be able to make a quick religion with Mandate of Heaven, because it now reduces profits cost. Religious fervor is a new policy which gives happiness for the number of cities that are in your empire. So there are some people that don't really like to put happiness into the tree because they think that it should be the work of the religion itself, but I have to disagree, because religion is not an exclusivity of the piety tree. So if it's not an exclusivity, you can still get happiness from religion in liberty and tradition. And you often do, especially with liberty, you like to take pagodas. So we all know that liberty is really need meritocracy. So if liberty with pagoda needs an additional happiness bonus, piety needs its own happiness bonus. So you could argue that it could be another kind of bonus towards happiness, but I really think piety needs an happiness bonus. So theocracy has been a little bit buffed. The only buffed is that now the Grand Temple also boosts the city output by 25%. And finally, not finally, but the Reformation is still the Reformation, but now every time you make a profit, you get a bonus in gold, production, and golden age, which is equal to the number of followers of this religion. So this encourages you to produce profits and to expand your religion around. The finisher still gives you a free profit, but it no longer boosts holy shrines. On the other hand, it now gives you access to the follower beliefs of the second most popular religion in your city. So before it was only the pantheon that you had access to, but now you will have access to the second most popular, the follower beliefs of the second religion. Let's go to patronage. Patronage was already a pretty decent tree, so it may have become a little bit too strong. The main changes is here. There is one changes here. So this is something that I think would really fit patronage, because this is really something that has something to do with city states. So now when you take patronage and when you take philanthropy, you get more quests. You get more quests from city states. Instead of being restrained to two personal quests in each city state, you are now you can now go to 3 quests. So this gives you more options to increase your influence with city-states. And finally, consulate, the resting points has been slightly reduced, but on the other hand, you get personal quests more quickly. So this one increases the number of personal quests you can get, and this one increases the speed at which you will get these quests. Cultural diplomacy hasn't changed. Scholasticism has been really changed. Now it is no longer 25% from from each city-state's science output. It is now a base number which is based on the era you are in. It's I think if I remember the formula that I put in, it is something like it increases by 2 or 3 every era for each ally you have. This will also give you 3 science for every trade route you send to a city-state, and this goes very well with Merchant Confederacy, which now gives more gold, more culture for each trade route you send to city-states. And finally, you also get influence the same way the freedom policy does. From city-states you have a trade route too. So all this makes patronage the go-to tree if you want to get to make city-states your best buddies. It gives you science, and it will give you a ton of stuff from the city-states, some of the trade routes. Honestly, I know people aren't very big on international trade routes. They prefer food. But the 4 gold, the 3 culture, and the 3 science make these routes very, very, very strong to city-states. So this is a very good tree. And of course, Germany is almost necessary for Germany to go patronage to get these routes. So aesthetics. So aesthetics, the finisher hasn't. Yes, the finisher has changed too. You get also more bonuses in food, culture, and faith by 35%. A little bit like the trait from Siam. Aesthetics. So aesthetics, it's mostly the finisher that has changed. The finisher now reveals hidden antiquity sites. I never understood why it was in exploration. It makes sense thematically, but like nobody was ever using hidden antiquity sites, so it was a little bit of a shame. Now you get hidden antiquity sites when you finish aesthetics. Cultural centers now also boost the production of archaeologists. Flourishing of the arts is now here. It is the same policy, but it's now here. Artistic genius has been buffed a lot. It now gives a oh, and this is a mistake, but it gives you a great artist and gives your great works to tourism. Let me just do it while I'm thinking about it. So aesthetics. So it is artistic genius. So it is a great artist. It's done. So I will just. Sorry, it's just that I don't want to forget. Just have to put it in the other ones. So I still need to make the translations for other language. So I can make French, but I don't know any Polish, Dutch, or else. So I've just added some language, but not all of them. So if you play in a different language, please write to me and I will add your language. While the text will be still in English, but at least you will have the right text instead of just getting the old ones. But anyway, right now I suggest you play in English anyway. Okay, so this is done. So it gives now to tourism. This is necessary to compensate for the added culture that I gave into the game, and it makes aesthetics a lot more interesting as a main tree for culture victory. Fine arts has been buffed also. It now gives a bonus in tourism from amphitheater, opera houses, museum, and broadcast towers. This is unchanged, and the finisher I've already talked about. Commerce. Commerce is now gives the finisher now gives you an additional trade route. Give you an additional trade route. This hasn't changed. This still allows you to get long snatch, but it also gives you a bonus in culture every time you buy a building with gold. So this is a little bit straightforward. This makes this policy a little bit more interesting for peaceful games. Now, before it was, yeah, it's cool to buy Landsknecht, but I didn't like that it felt like a wasted policy. I think it's uninteresting in for the fun of the game. Mercantilism isn't changed, commerce hasn't changed a lot overall. Navigation is cool. Okay, so exploration has changed a bit. It mostly has been rearranged. So you now have only economic policies here. The military policy is here in the corner or in the finisher and the opener. So the opener now gives the same stuff as before, but also increase embarked movement by 1. By the way, entrepreneurship no longer has the bug where it increases embark movement by 1. So now it's in the exploration opener, and the finisher increases the strength of military units, of naval units. Maritime is the same. Merchant Navy. Merchant Navy gives you gold for lighthouses, harbor, and seaports. Was it only 1 before and I've changed it to 2? Yeah, I think that's it. So before it was 1 gold, now it's 2 gold. Naval tradition gives you 1 happiness for these buildings, but also increases the production of this building by 100%, making it a little bit more interesting. And finally, treasury fleet. They're missing an icon here, but gives you gold, science, and culture for international sea trade routes. Okay, and rationalism has been changed. The opener no longer gives you a bonus to science, but instead is reminiscent to the aesthetic bonus, which gives you a bonus to the generation of great scientists. I think this may not change much, but one of these two may go back to being easily accessible to make rationalism still a tree a little bit more with a little bit more choices, because right now if you don't have research agreement here, you're kind of forced going that way. The main other change is that secularism is no longer 2 science per specialist, but 1 science per specialist, and 2 for academies. So the opener is now here in humanism. It gives you 10% science, while the empire is happy. Free thought is unchanged, and that's it. This policy, what does it call? Ideologies haven't been changed. Alright, so this is all done. I've explained everything that is in it. Some stuff may more or less change before the mod is released, not a lot. Honestly, in the policies, the only thing that may change at release is the rationalism tree. Everything should be mostly the same. And all the other changes that I've talked about should be the same, which are AI culture, wide mechanics, warfare, policies, religion, wonders, buildings, technologies, and miscellaneous. Yes, thanks, purposes. Okay, I think I've talked about everything. This has been a very long video. I'm a little bit tired of speaking. I don't know how many of you will reach the end of this video, since it's only me talking about the mod, but I hope it gives you interest in trying it out. So yes, just the last thing, about compatibility of the mod. The mod is sadly not compatible with any changes to the DLL. So anything that changes the code of the game is not compatible. So other AI changes or bug fixes, that all this stuff is not compatible. But like I said, I have already imported the current most popular artificial intelligence mod, which is artificial intelligence, and I'm already working into adding bug fixes and similar changes from the forward pick and mix DLL. So the purpose of the mod being to be a standalone anyway. I also don't really encourage people to use my mod with a mod that would add buildings or different mechanics or different balance changes, etc. I don't think it really makes sense to use my balance mode and then try to use something that wasn't designed with it in mind. However, you probably can use civilizations, map script without any problem. Well, civilizations may be unbalanced, but this is not really a problem. Alright. So this is it for this video. I hope I hope you made it that far, and that you will be interested. So it will be released in the coming days once cfanatics.com is back online. The mod won't be released right away on the workshop. I want to make sure it works correctly before that there aren't any crashes. So of course you're welcome to test it out on cfanatics to help me find if there are some bugs. Alright, thank you everyone for listening. I hope it was clear and interesting, and see you for the next video coming soon with this mod. See you.